All right, it's the dawn of a new day. A cold new day. I've had plenty of opportunity to contemplate what we're going to do here. It seems either I need a much bigger piece of pipe or we're going to have to do something a little more aggressive to get this thing to actually move. And so it's time to open the drawer. That's right. I think we're going to stick towards this side of the drawer. I have a feeling it's time to bring out the engineer's hammer or the blacksmith's hammer so we can do some engineering. But first, we have to figure out a way and make sure we're not going to destroy that shaft so that I can actually put the new collar onto it. To do that, I think we're going to borrow a bit of the pipe that we used yesterday. Okay, changed my mind. Found conveniently in the scrap pile just a piece of cut off square tubing. Probably all we need at the moment. So this might work. Certainly big enough to fit over the end of the shaft here. Let me get the high spot up. All right, let's see what happens if we go to a banging. All right, or not. I think we did something. All right, so this is the low spot, which means the high spot's just past the old mark. And it used to be at 52 thousandths, now it's about 36 thousandths. Look at that. We're making progress. Oh, look at that. So it's just for grins, let's make sure about 15. Low spot's just over here now. But we're much better. So the low spot was just there, about minus 14 and a half, minus 15, zero that. Don't mind this bump, there's a little divot in the shaft. So the high spot here is now 22. Used to be 51. We're halfway there, buddy. So if that's low, that's high. I want to hit it right about where it is now. See if this does anything. We may have to get a bit more persuasive. About 15 thousandths. Let me make sure this is actually indicating correctly. Oh, plus 14, plus 15. Remember we were at 50. Look at that. Just a little bit to go, but it's already going to be so much better. And I don't even have to go get a bigger hammer. I just have to swing it harder. Probably a life lesson for you kids. Not always the size of your hammer, boys. It's how hard you swing it. All right. That's still about the high spot, plus 16, 18. Zero that. Minus 20. We going the wrong way here, boys? Still better than it was by about 20 thousandths. You know that thing about hammer size I just said? I lied. Bigger hammer. I don't know how much better I'm going to get this, to be honest with you. Zero this because we're close to the high spot, 2.5 thousandths, where it always was. The opposite side of this, minus 12. We were at minus 51, we're at minus 12 now. All right, minus 16. Still 15 thousandths compared to 51. That's probably good enough for the girls I go out with, as AVE would say. Good enough for the lawn I'm cutting. At least it won't rattle my fillings loose. All right, let's eyeball this. Let me pull my chain a little bit. Well, it's still visibly out of round, but it doesn't look nearly as bad. I think maybe we can give this one more adjustment. I'm like a lawnmower chiropractor here. Oh, see if that screw ever comes out of there. That's going to be a bitch. Minus 11. Down to 11 thousandths. See what's happening to this thing? All these marks and dimples and all this could have been on the shaft. Jesus. Dimples on the shaft. That did it. I guarantee, as some old-timey television chef from the 80s used to say. What the hell was his name? Somebody's Louisiana Kitchen. Wasn't Paul Prudhomme, wasn't Emerald. Yeah, it's still eccentric, but not nearly as bad. And at this point, the true test is not perfection. The true test is how bad it vibrates once it starts. So let's start putting this thing back together. And then I think we need to clean up the rust off of that shaft. All right, what do we got to do that? Probably some kind of light Scotch-Brite. That's finer. Probably this. And that's my finest Scotch-Brite. And one of my favorite tools. Bought them when they first came out. These Milwaukee M12 little side angle grinders. Excellent. I don't need to go full speed on this. Polishing my shaft. think I'm going to clean that keyway a little bit. Little touch of 320 grit emery paper here. Can actually do just a quick rub. I'm not trying to remove material here, just enough to make it so the new piece can slide on here easily. We can sort of check that. See if we can break this loose. There we go. Go roughly like this. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Let's see if we can make this easier next time, right? The secret to surviving, like what Kenny Rogers said, has nothing to do with knowing what to throw away and knowing what to keep. It has to do with the liberal use of anti-seize, especially if you live up here where things are frozen for half the fucking year. It's the original, like, Frank's Red Hot sauce. You get this shit on everything. Because once it gets on your fingers, I know, it never comes off, but you know, sometimes life is hard. There you go. Sticky fingers. Somewhere in my bag of parts with this kit yesterday came a new center bolt. It's a new keyway. These are, let's see. Yeah, I actually have multiple sets now because I ordered my own parts beforehand. Oh, they're different lengths. That's not good. There it is. Okay, so what we have are, let's see, 90, 105, 960, 710, 710. These are short bolts, which I believe are the ones that go in here to hold the blade on. This is a 90, 105 VA3 J01, which is the longer bolt, I believe goes in there. Matches up nicely with the old one. So that's the center bolt. This is a VA3 J01, so another center bolt. Keyway, washer, and another center bolt. VG3000. That's yet a different bolt. So I guess Honda, they sell this kit for multiple mowers. And there's probably different center bolt sizes here. So we're going to use the one that matches nicely. Nicest to. These are different size bolts, aren't they? Yes, that's why. Lucky me. Okay, I think this is going to be the one that fits. It's a center bolt. Meshes nicely with the old one. Threads feel fine. No need to chase them. All right. Old one goes there. Keyway, the new key. When you hit something like I did with the mower, one of the things that often happens is you shear these little woodruff keys. So that's something to absolutely keep an eye out for if this happens to you. We're going to put the keyway in the hole. Tappy, tap, tap. That slides on. Give this a more gentle tappy, tap, tap. Prefect. We are going to come back with our new bolt. And we're going to torque this thing appropriately. The internet says torque specs 5 to 6 kilogram meters, which is 36 to 43 foot-pounds. Let's call that 40. Trace. 40 pound-feet. Oh, wrong torque adapter. No, battery's low because it's cold. And of course this fucker has like 4 screws on the back to take the friggin' thing off and put a battery in it. So we may have to go to the old-fashioned version here just to get this done before tomorrow, unless I can count on the mighty Quinn torque adapter from Harbor Freight. Let's see, is the battery dead too? 40. Look, my shoe. Really should have a piece of wood or something under here. Who's got time for that? Click. Sent these things zip tied together. Kinepex makes this beautiful set of flush cutters. 7201 140s. Right here says Für Plastik. For plastic. I don't just use them for zip ties, but they're fantastic for that. You do a bunch of 3D printing and sometimes useful for getting supports off parts and other things. So here's a new blade set. Not nearly as sharp as mine, but good enough for mulching some leaves for the rest of this year. Blade set goes like this. And so we need 2 new screws, 2 new bolts, 2 new washers. No Loctite, same torque specs. All 3 of these bolts torque to the same value. I'll say one thing. Some of this hardware is 18 years old. These bolts, these screws have been laying out here for 18 years in the grass, in the wet, and whatever. This hardware is still in good shape. It's barely rusty. So kudos to Honda, at least 18 or 20 years ago when they were building good stuff, for making decent parts that they knew were going to be exposed to crap in conditions like this. All right. That goes there. That goes there. You know, idiot, you have a flex head. Why don't you flex the fucking head so you're not scraping your knuckles against the blade? All right, Mighty Quinn. Let's test out these steel toes again. There. I think we're done down here, eh? And you think this air filter looks bad now, just know I cleaned it a couple weeks ago. So yes, this Honda really doesn't owe me anything after 18 years of this kind of neglect. There you go. Good for another decade. Fuel on. Put the starter cord back where it belongs. Maybe we'll put it on the right way. Yes, the anti-seize spark plugs too. Beautiful. That was great when your spark plug socket leaves a little rubber boot on. Something tells me it's going to run better now. Fucking moron. It ain't perfect, but it's better.